What's going on, everybody?
So,
Happy belated Thanksgiving. Hope everybody enjoyed their holiday and is nice and fat and slow and ready to get their asses beat this week. I know I am. Cool. So we're going to go into footage from this past Monday. That was the last. I mean, we had class Monday, Tuesday. We got footage from Monday, so yeah, we'll get into that and get going. We got Battle of the Beards with Justin and Pat starting it off. What's going on, gents? And looks like Cody and Luke as well. Let's see how Cody got behind Luke real quick. Just a little. Threw the arm by, went behind. Luke's going to be a tough one to take down from the rear, especially for us shorter guys. Pat in on a single. And just a really fundamental running the pipe. And we got Joe and Rush. Joe working heavy collar tie. Please don't go into the corner. Bobby 5000, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. And thanks for following. What's up, James?
what's happening, everybody? I think everybody's ready to get back on the mats.
Yeah. Bobby, are you one of our students? Or are you one of our internet friends? What's up, Ronnie? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Joe staying real heavy on this collar tie. Rush trying to work the over tie. I can't remember. I think Rush and I had gone over that like over tie foot sweep. Oh, right on. Cool. Welcome, Bobby. Another Goruck Savage in the chat. All right, we got to look at what Steven's doing, how he got set up.
Right on.
Awesome, man. I appreciate the support.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to let Steven and James's exchange play out here, see how they got back to it in a second. Okay.
Finish the triangle. Yeah.
All right, so cool. This is from half guard. Looking at these guys here. All right, so James shooting in on deep half. Went for that underhook, but Steven's laying on a whizzer right now. I think. Okay. Let's do that one more time. So as James is trying to roll up into that like single deep half.
Yep.
That single leg deep half, which this got me into trouble with Steven, I think on the same night. And now he's turning it into that like Udigatami straight arm bar. And then transitioning to the triangle, and he's on a really good angle too. And he has James's left arm in a great position across the chest. Let's see the hand assist to get it tightened up. James is squared back up with him, but he gets it. That was solid. Let's see.
That was really good use of holding that trapped arm. I think that's I mean, you got the armbar threat the entire time, right?
Right.
You got just the pressure, and then all it takes is just the right angle to be cut.
Yeah, that was good. Giving him multiple threats to think about. right from here. I'm a terrible single leg deep half deep half guard player. Like I've never been able to work it the way you see guys like what's his name? The original guy, the pipe layer, trained under Jocko and Dean, donkey guard, that dude, Jeff Glover.
Jeff Glover. Yeah.
Yeah, that I think that was like his style of half guard that he liked, or deep half rather. But then yeah, transitioning from that, you know, Steven fending off that, working that angle around and behind James to set up almost the rear triangle. But then, yeah, giving him that armbar trouble, making him have to posture up to like press his arm forward into that because you don't want to pull your arm out. And in doing that, he stacks Steven so Steven can adjust his triangle. So it's like one defense of the armbar equals to a better offense for Steven with the triangle. So well played. Rush sitting to guard. Well, Joe, you got to make quick use of that connection you made with him. I mean, you had a super tight, like double collar tie, almost like a Muay Thai clinch on him. So got to make quick use of that while you have it. Or I don't want to say that you should rush through that, but that's going to be necessary to prevent that. Oh, did we lose you, Mike? We'll find him when he comes back on. What else? A bunch of chatty Cathys tonight. Didn't get my head next. Okay, yeah. I want to look at Joe and Rush here. So Joe's working to X guard. And working the X guard sweep, in a way, let's see, he hasn't come up yet. Joe's making that very difficult. So yeah, Rush wasn't in a terrible spot there. He lost control of the legs. Like there are a few different ways that you could end this X guard sweep. With Joe, like this is James. This is perfect for what you've been working on. Joe has placed his hands. He's kind of stacked Rush. He has placed his hands to the mat, so his hips and legs. Sorry, I keep moving that. His hips and legs are lighter. Now, if Rush were to switch to a reverse X guard, where he basically just he would like extract his left leg, slide his right leg down to where his left leg currently is, and then reinsert his right leg. That would be a reverse X guard. And from there, he could do that real snazzy cross ashi entrance from the supine position on his back. Instead, with Joe leaning out over the side, this isn't like all is not lost here. If Rush, it may be kind of hard. I think Joe might actually have Rush's leg here. But if Rush were to take this leg, step over and rotate his hips in between Joe's legs, he could just transition to a different entrance on the legs. Whereas Joe, this is a funky little leg position here. Joe is, I want to say, I don't know if I would call that a false reap per se. It's really weird. But either way, right here, pinning Rush's foot to his butt is really great. It's going to make it very difficult for Rush to re-guard. But it might, okay, there we go. I was going to say it's going to make it difficult for Joe to transition around the back with that sticky hook that Rush had with his foot. But with Rush turning his knees and his hips to the mat, that gives Joe the opportunity he needs to take it back. Let's see, is Mike back with us yet? There he is.
Yep.
Okay.
I was hearing a chewing. My dog was eating my Switch controller, so.
Ah, fun.
Yeah.
Oh, look who's in the chat tonight. What's up, Luke?
Oh, Senpai Luke.
Got you over there giving Cody the business. And then, okay, Brandon and Danny out of nowhere. I'm trying to catch everybody right now. What did Joe just do here? So, okay, this is Joe's using that similar sweep we saw him and Cole using the other day, where he's got that overwrap over the neck, and then ends up scooping him to almost like a north-south position, finishing that roll. That works for him, man. Joe laying on some good heavy shoulder pressure. Almost has himself into a katagatame here, but he's got to get that knee free. Okay, we ran out of time. That was a killer way to end the round, Joe. Yeah, you and Cole both really like that sweep where you're pinning the head and taking away the base. Or let's see, Rush takes away his own base with his left hand with that cross face right here. And then if he stays real committed to that, as well as your bridge, which pins his forearm, all of your, or a lot of your weight is now on his forearm, so it's hard for him to extract that in time to base out. But now you take him perfectly in that direction. You're not taking him over his head. You're taking him to the corner of his body. And then this little overhook you have on this leg is going to make it hard for him to base out with that left leg of his, which is really probably his only, his last bet there, but he can't get it out in time. All muscles for sure. Yeah, lockdowns, I don't know. I wish you guys wouldn't get stuck there as much when it happens. It's a tough thing to get out of, but right now you're keeping your leg super straight. You really need to think about bending your heel towards your butt and then kind of flipping your leg out just to all you have to do is beat his foot. And it's going to be hard for him to follow. So if you just switch your hips and kick your foot out and then pull your foot in underneath, which remind me at class this week, I'll show you how to do it. It's a really good first option. You can also use your free leg to fight his crossed ankles and crossed up legs. If that one doesn't work, honestly, those are the two things I use to get out of lockdown. They help me a lot. They've done me really well. I don't put too much study into how to get out of that. They pretty much almost always work. What did Joe do for the sub? Well, he didn't do shit really. Yeah.
Yeah, I think time just ran out.
Time just ran out. Yeah, I think all he would have had to do there was get his knee free. We've seen people finish those arm triangles from mount, from top half guard. Rush he might be a little bit harder to finish that with from those positions, but once he got his knee out, would have just been getting the ankle out and then transitioning off to the side. So I'm looking for that overtie on the overtie foot sweep on Duncan, and Steven ruined it for me because apparently he hit the cleanest one ever on Duncan, and now I can't do it to him. So we got Cole working a leg entrance here. The spin around, not to cross Ashi, but to a reverse Ashi into knee bar. Following through on it. That was nice. Let's look at that. Again, working, since this is half guard week, it's really good to see you guys working some half guard techniques. So right now, actually, what do you think about what Rush is doing, Mike? Grip wise.
So, I'm sorry?
Grip wise.
So he has that 2-on-1 on that near side wrist. For the knee cut, I found that to be, at least for me, I haven't had a lot of success with near side grips. When I'm trying to battle somebody who's going to attempt a knee cut on me or be very strong in that position, I'm going to be going for that cross side wrist, that one. And the reason is I haven't been able to effectively stop somebody from knee cutting while holding that one grip. It's always the bottom side, or that far-reaching grip that you have to contend with. So from this position, I'm not digging the 2-on-1 on that particular wrist.
Yeah, that's
I
what
would advise. If I was going to do it, I would shore it up with like an arm drag, or trying to get Cole completely across my body. You know, if I were Rush, I'd be trying to use that and try and get it down to the mat, and use that to heist myself up, to maybe come around for a back take, or maybe even do a knee tap, to get back up on top.
Yeah, another thing, or two other things dawned on me with that too, is like you're not gonna win the underhook battle because you're not even fighting the underhook battle at that point. You're also leaving yourself wide open to a very deep, heavy crossface from Cole with that arm that Cole's posting on right now. I think Cole is probably thinking about the leg entrance right now, so he's not too worried about getting chest to chest. But if he wanted to work passing from a top half guard position, which is always a great option, he would look to set up a crossface. And right now, Rush he doesn't have any defense in that regard. So he would get crossfaced, he'd get flattened out onto his back, and then Cole would start working, either leg pummeling out or trying to get around the knee, getting heavy chest to chest pressure, and then passing from there.
Yeah, so actually that's a good point to follow it up. What a lot of people like to do from that position, myself included, is to come up for a weak side pass. So imagine if Cole came up through the middle of the knee shield here, right? So he could always pull his knee in between the legs. He would be able to force Rush over to his left hip, which in this case would be his weak side. And he could start, especially since Cole has come around and is he's penetrating the guard really, really well with the left knee. And, so if he would just drive that back over, he would have a very good setup for a weak side pass.
Yeah. So now he's starting, you can tell he's definitely thinking about the leg entrance. So now that he's got Rush's leg under control, I like that he takes a step leading with the knee across the torso instead of just trying to take a big step all the way around. That would just create far too much space. Now it's going to be difficult for Rush to try to sit up or anything like that. Way to tighten this up for Cole. Just keep driving that knee out and around. I would hate for him to lose this to some shitty, not shitty, ineffective, but a toe hold or something like that Rush could throw at him here, leaving his foot behind, or even countering if Rush managed to get Cole's left knee. Let's see if we get to if he managed to get behind Cole's left knee, they'd almost be in a 50-50-ish knee bar battle, right? Which would be really strange. I don't think I've ever seen that, but normally you're going to pull that leg through and it's going to be inaccessible to Rush. So definitely lead with that knee, like I was saying a second ago. Don't let your leg get caught behind as you try to fall flat and attack the knee prematurely. And then from here, yeah, he just gets a good bend in it. Going belly down it's going to be a tough spot. That's like an ankle lock. Going belly down is just going to make it really, really crappy.
That was a very good, and I really like the lat grip that he was using. That was really nice. Very, very strong grip. And I know Cole was being gentle here. So
he did transition to that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he did. That's a very, very strong grip. So anybody in the chat who hasn't hit a knee bar before, this is, I think, the tightest, at least it is for me. And then Cole, for you to shore this up, so we talked about it a little bit today in training, but you have to realize, and Matt said this a few minutes ago, but anytime that you're attacking somebody's legs, they have your legs too, right? Like there are ways for you to make this a one-sided battle to where you own all of the inside real estate. But if you look at your left leg in this scenario, you know, if Rush was somehow able to turn out of this, your left leg is actually in danger here, or could be potentially in danger, right? So what I would do to shore this up to make sure that my left leg wasn't in danger is triangle my legs, you know, so hiking my left knee up over top of my right ankle and just treating it like a figure of four, you know, and that way it protects the knee, and it would also be an even tighter bite on the hip and the upper thigh.
Yeah. All right. Elsewhere, we have Justin and Austin. I'm curious if Justin's going to be looking for Darcis here. Or, okay, just breaking him down.
Yeah, he's got it set up. All right, that's Anaconda.
Anaconda, yeah. Yeah, he does have it.
Starting to roll. That's good. You really got to get your head underneath your partner here in order to commit to that roll, if that's what you want to do.
Damn, Justin, that looked promising.
Yeah. Yeah, in order to tighten that up a little bit, you really have to think about diving your head up underneath Austin and beating the roll.
Yeah.
So not like having him slam his body weight on top of your head, but really trying to tuck your head underneath the armpit, right, and starting to roll underneath the body with that. Yeah. We can go over that in class tomorrow.
Looks like Austin's arm is caught. Yeah, I was waiting for it. Some sort of Makikomi attempt.
Yep.
Good awareness, Justin, just to be able to turn back through that, get your elbow across in between you and him. No need to settle for having your back taken there.
Oh, I'd really like to see on that that passing attempt on Rush. I really don't want to see you coming up and trying to high leg over when you don't have an underhook. So you have double overs, which I know is a very strong passing position for you, or strong position. But the fact that you don't have an underhook immediately screams that that Rush can start thinking about taking your back here.
And he's doing a good job working his double unders against Cole.
Yep.
Yeah, Cole had his own elbows hiked up above his shoulder line, which is where that started to go wrong for him.
All right, then maybe Thursday. We'll work on it Thursday then.
Yeah, and the finish for, so you were doing an Anaconda in that one. The finishes for Darcis and Anacondas, even though they're very closely related, they're going to be pretty different. I mean, I think you and I both prefer the Anaconda finish on the back, that roll to where you capture with the legs. I haven't really found a better, tighter finish than that. Whereas Darcis, I know Danny has a favorite way, Luke has a favorite way, I have a favorite way.
I just never hit them.
Yeah, I have a favorite way of teaching it and thinking that I can hit them. But my T-Rex arms don't typically allow that.
Back take defense. Where's Joe training?
Back take offense is still a struggle. Joe.
Oh, back take off. Sorry, I misread that.
Where is he training?
Where are you?
He's
At
got
the top
a knee.
with Caleb? That's not with Caleb.
I reckon. No, that's Brandon.
Yeah.
Middle back with Danny. Oh, right here?
Oh, okay. That was okay.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Damn, bro.
That was slick.
I love it. All right, so
Nice.
what I love most about this is that it's a counter to Danny doing the right thing with the standing guard break. Danny goes to work it. You dictated when your guard opened, and you inverted your knees and entered into the legs very nicely, very quickly. He did that leg up and over the butt, just like you were teaching a few months back now.
Yep.
Except I think he turned back towards him rather than the other way, which isn't wrong. It's just a different approach. That was great, man. Really, really great counter.
So much to watch.
I know, man. This is... God, I wish our school would stop growing and being awesome. Steven really working that rear triangle tonight. Ineffectively, I should say.
That was a good round.
Active. Some more over tie practice into the Russian tie. Steven and Luke. See if anybody wants any coal smoke. How did I get that single leg?
I think you.
Just arm drag entry.
Drag to a knee. Yeah, to a knee tap.
Rush and Danny. Yeah, bro, you don't even know how to strangle people.
Very nice, Danny. I really like that little misdirection to try and get. So that was really nice. So he makes sure that.
Great knee to the body to open that up.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
No.
You can kick him right in the nuts. It's just effective. But what I really like about that is he knows what he has to do, right? Like we talk about, the head needs to be at or below the shoulder line. Below the shoulder line is perfect, right? In order for you to start hitting a front headlock position from standing. So what Danny's doing here is he's pulling nice and heavy on that collar tie, and then in order to make sure that Rush can't stand back up, he goes for an inside foot, like just a trip, just a teaser, gets him to step back, which means that all of his weight is now forward, and then now Danny can pull and then go straight over with the same side.
Yeah, that was slick.
That was a really nice setup.
And then he takes the time here to set up like the kind of the 100%er or
Yep.
like a cow catcher sort of grip on the head and arm. See if he can rush. All right, Danny's
So a little overzealous on the turn. I think he was really trying to get into the mount, and Rush was just turning with him and got back up on top.
Yeah, that was slick though. Really good use of that foot sweep. I didn't even catch that. That was really nice.
Damn, Justin, that was I did not see that. I don't do that with Matt either. When he so he's holding your right foot and heisting it up so he can step over it basically when he comes back up on top.
Yeah, he's kind of disrupting my diagonal control, really.
Yeah,
if you think about it. Maybe I don't know if because I've got his right. This might just be the weakness of that chair sit method coming out, where I don't even have diagonal control. I have his right arm and a leg over a right hip. And he's preventing I'm not getting my hips out behind him. I can't say if he's shutting that down or if I'm just being lazy. But at this point, Like there is no, like he has my hips under control here with that grip on my leg, or at least he has some significant influence over them.
Yeah. And then you try and hike it up higher so that you can start attacking the neck with the legs, but he's already on top of your right leg.
Yeah.
So you gotta think of something different. Yeah. Nice.
I also think my calves were on fire from that those 2 calf cramps I had the last time.
Yeah.
So like when, I mean, no joke, like when he came up, like that was something I was having to watch out a lot earlier this week, as he came up and like stapled on my knee. I was like, yep, you got it. I'm not fighting that. I'm not trying to get that back. But that was, I mean, that was effective. He had completely splayed my legs and pinned one so that I couldn't control him.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a cool thing Steven pointed out to me. We were talking about this, I don't know if it was after this class or if it was before, but working shoulder crunches and deep half as kind of a dilemma. So when you go to shoot on deep half guard, you get cross-faced. From that cross-face, you can immediately shoot up a shoulder crunch. When they pull out of that shoulder crunch, I go for my sweep. He keeps his base. He's posturing up. He pulls out of the shoulder crunch. I can shoot back to a deep half. So it's this, yeah, and like the side switch, that was kind of incidental, but it was this dilemma between those two positions where if you get cross-faced, you immediately shoot up your shoulder crunch. When they try to pull out of that before you can tighten it down, you go right back into your deep half and try to catch them off balance from that tall posturing that they're doing from ripping their arm out. It was a really interesting positional dilemma, and full credit to Steven for noticing that. I worked that against him, I think, later in this match, and he totally had my number, and it did not end well for me.
Danny is like going for the neck. I don't know how many different guillotine like chin straps I've seen him try and set up here.
Yeah, Rush is doing good to stay safe though.
Very much. Yeah, no, Rush is doing a great job. He's trying to shelf the leg here with a body lock. I don't know if his hands are fully locked here, but I'm curious to see how Rush is gonna try and finish this, or what he's gonna be able to do with the body lock. Danny's actually pushing on the wrong side of the head, but he was using it as a distraction so he can get his hips out. Yep. Yeah, that was nice.
Then look at Justin here. I like, Justin, how much you're taking your time setting up your go behind here. Like you get your knee behind my arm before you try to spin around, which was perfect. Yep.
We've been seeing that as a gap, like that we really need to fill is the knee penetration rather than just lazily going behind.
Yeah, you tried that on Luke. He lifts his elbow up and then kind of swims his arm over and just puts you right on your butt.
Yep.
Speaking of, how's Steven doing? Still alive? Danny working his own shoulder crunch from half guard now.
Let's see if Luke is doing the same dilemma. So Luke was just shooting for that shoulder crunch on that far side. Now he's trying to go for the Kimura.
Yeah, that seems like it could be another good option. Like shoot the Kimura, if they pull the arm out, shoot to the deep half.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking about.
I want to point out Danny here. So, you know, these two psychos have been scrambling all over the mat. Danny's done, I feel like a lot of the things he's done here up until now have been, like, we saw him using, submission threats and positional dominance to to get out from underneath Rush. Like we saw him kind of working that, working the head, repositioning the head, throwing up a front headlock, guillotine threat to get his hips out to stand to take a, you know, probably a better position for him. Here he's using the shoulder crunch from half guard, which honestly really isn't, in my experience, and I'm curious what you would think, it like a shoulder crunch from half guard isn't especially effective. You don't have the ability to elevate and turn them the way you do when you typically use a shoulder crunch.
Right.
So he's using it there, but I mean, he gets a butterfly in. It's enough to make, it's enough to put Rush on a hip and make him try to come up. And the whole time, Danny's just like, all right, I can't escape to a submission. I wasn't able to sweep you. At least I can do plan C, which is escape back to guard, which he does here, and then fully takes the opportunity to come up over the top and secure this guillotine. It looks like an arm-in guillotine as well, I think. But yeah, you know, ideally you escape to it, or you can escape and immediately attack submissions. If not, you can escape and go to a position where you're more dominant. And if none of that is an opportunity, or if none of that is available for you, you can always escape to guard. And that's why you really at every level, Danny just locked up a Darce in like 10 seconds. At every level, you should be practicing, honing your escapes, however you choose to take them. Luke on deep half, trying to at least. Wonder who Cole has belly down right now. I haven't seen who he was training with. Oh, I was trying so hard to hit a Peruvian on Justin here, just because it popped into my head. But I think Justin probably has the tightest turtle of like anybody at the school.
So Steven's just did the same thing with Luke, as Danny, with that cross side half guard shoulder crunch, and gets Luke a little off balance. But
He was rolling up to the far side.
Yeah.
The opposite side Danny tried to go.
Oh, was Danny on? I thought that was the same configuration. Okay.
It was the same. Danny just tried to roll him to the side of the shoulder crunch, where Steven tried to roll
right,
to the
side of the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Before I forget, shout out to Rich Ruger, Circus NH, Bobby 5000, and Hicksmy 88 for the recent follows. Appreciate the support, guys. Justin at it early, trying to rip off Luke's head.
And they got Jordan. Is that Jordan and
Joe, I think?
Okay.
Let me check. Yeah, it's Joe.
You and Caleb?
Yeah. I liked it better when Caleb wasn't as good. I have to worry so much now about his like towering height over me at his forward pressure.
Yeah. I have to worry about my joints the next morning, mostly.
Also, yes.
Trying to overtie, throw by. Nice.
Yeah. I wanted to finish that single so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Luke demonstrating why he loves the like the modified mount and how he does it. He always gets that right leg of his in place. He doesn't immediately set up the body triangle here. He attempts it, doesn't get it, prioritizes keeping the control over Justin's hips. So he switches to hooks for a little bit until he can get everything where he wants it. Here he switches legs, switches sides, reattempts the body triangle, and they can start to attack. Oh, I just slipped out of. Caleb tried to do his Caleb throw, and I slipped out. First roll with Tim Kennedy.
Nice.
That's quite a good jiu-jitsu story, man. To be able to say that. Tom just put out something on Instagram about that exact move. About which move? About Caleb's throw or which one? The body triangle. Oh, Luke's back take. Okay.
Mm.
Ooh, Luke working a twister right now. Let's see if he swims that. If he could swim his left, if Luke can swim his left arm inside to the front, that would have been a nasty. He probably would have finished it without the left arm, but there it is. So Luke's keeping that left arm behind Justin's head right now, which this can still suck. Like this can end up as a bit of a neck crank. Where you see the 10th Planet guys, you know, the guys like I forgot the dude in the UFC who brought the twister to popularity. They bring that left arm, they swim it in front of the body, so it wouldn't be behind Justin's head. It would actually be coming up and over, but then still swimming behind Justin's head, if that makes sense.
In front of the shoulder, behind the head.
Exactly. Yeah. For those of you who don't like calling this a twister, this fun fact is known as a guillotine in freestyle wrestling. I know Gordon did not want to give credit on his whatever DVD he put out that was where he showed this move. He explicitly called it a freestyle guillotine, I think, just to like not give credit to the 10th Planet guys, which I thought was funny. Justin is super hawking right there. So Justin is so deep in that right now, which really sucks. I think the last ditch thing he could have done is try to capture Luke's leg in between his legs, to take a bit of the torque and the pressure off of that triangle, off the rear triangle that Luke has. But
that shoulder, I don't want to speak for him, but I bet that shoulder was not feeling good.
Yeah, probably more that shoulder than the strangle, I would think. But Justin, you let us know if you're still watching. Bobby, how long have you been training, man? And can you beat up Tim Kennedy yet? I think I just spend the rest of this round getting smashed by Caleb, as usual. If I lose top position on him, it's just a suck fest. Oh yeah, he hits his compression choke on me here.
Yeah. Screw that.
All strangle, but I can tell if I manage to get out my shoulder. Yeah. That's why I love the rear triangle position. It's
Double
a strangle. Threat. I mean, it's like it's a quintuple threat. Like you got the neck, you've got 2 attacks on the shoulder, the elbow. You have an attack on the elbow, and you have an attack on the wrist. It's such a bad spot to be. And anytime any of you ever get out of the rear triangle against me, and it's happened plenty of times, you've gotten out of it. Well, many more times than once. I think Steven recently got out of it. Nothing pisses me off more than when you guys manage to escape that.
Somebody dead to rights in that position.
It's
just so Caleb. Before we move on, Caleb had a really nice transition on you, to where
I don't give a shit.
So he has like this tackle position, which I'll tell you, like I haven't. So you step back, you did a back step to go into cross ashi. He, kind of
side body lock.
What's that?
He has like a side body lock
Yeah, and his head is on like the wrong side, right? Like for a body lock, it's driving into your arm, and that looks really bad. But when you're going, you're trying to turtle up so that you can stand up. Basically, is what I imagine you're gonna try and do here. Get to your knees and try and work from a turtle position. Maybe stand, do whatever. Watch what he does with his right arm. So as soon as you start coming up, he grabs for your far side crap. And then he uses his body weight to drive forward and lift your shoulder or your elbow up towards your shoulder, and he starts to slide straight into a katagatame.
Yeah.
There's a really nice setup from here that the bell rings, but I
Yeah.
thought that was a slick transition.
Yeah, that was really great. You're totally right. Like how he took the time crawling up the body and controlling it the whole way. It was absolutely crucial.
Yep.
Steven wanted to mercy grip me here. How did Luke get there so quickly? Oh, okay, Brandon shoots single leg, head on the outside. Was it head on the outside? Did he switch?
On the inside.
So he had the head on the outside, but then he
Oh,
switches here. Yeah, he must have switched to the head on the inside at some point.
Oh no, he just gets rotated in. He just
Okay.
gets pulled over and inside of the leg.
Caleb on a knee bar.
On Rush, yeah.
Let's give Caleb his credit here. Let's see how he got to that. Oh, Rush goes in for De La Riva right there. And then Caleb lowers his level, slams back, gets his hips beneath the knee, and goes in. Really good entrance, Caleb.
Yeah, so Joe's saying that if you gotta maybe hide the chat here to see.
Saw Pat. I don't know how I got there. Okay. I will keep an eye out. You guys are slightly behind the pillar right now.
Yeah.
Actually, almost totally behind the pillar. Steven threw up a no arm, TP choke triangle on me here. I was like, yeah, right. And then he put the squeeze on, and I felt like my jaw was about to pop out.
Like, it sucks.
Yeah. Right afterward, you can see how like rubbing the side of my face because I was like, oh, that's about to break. That's not good. Yeah, Joe. So your leg entrance is just behind the pillar.
Oh, that was sweet.
What, Joe or
Joe?
Okay. Let me hide the chat. We'll see what we can see out of this.
So he stepped around.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. The step around reverse Ashi entrance.
But it doesn't end here. Watch what happens. Boom. Straight into a heel hook.
Oh, nasty. To the outside Senkaku, outside heel hook.
Bam.
So yeah, I don't think we'll be able to really zoom on it too much, but yeah, killer. So, Pat did the right thing here in trying to get up to the knee or get up to his knees, I imagine he was going to start looking to try to extract his leg. Joe did a good job rotating with him, catching that knee or catching the heel that was exposed. So yeah, that was just, Joe, since you said, you've already heel hook. You don't know how you got there. So yeah, it looked like you just stepped around probably from a half guard or something like that into reverse Ashi. And then you didn't enter into the heel hook. Like it wasn't your choice. It looked like, Pat rotated. And that's how you ended up getting there. Let me hide the chat one more time so we can see it. So once you fell into this knee bar, because Pat is now turning his knees, right now you don't have a knee bar at all, but you do have heel exposure. So as Pat moves his butt to the ground, he doesn't pull his hips away from your hips at all. So he doesn't slip his knee past your knee line. So you have really, really good heel exposure right there. You can see you switch. Actually, I feel like you had. Okay, you were gripping the toes there, like you had the toe line. I was wondering. I was like, why did he switch his arms? But he didn't have the grip. So right here, he goes in for the grip, hides the toes in the armpit, gets that wrist right underneath.
Yeah, when someone's in a knee bar and they're trying to escape the knee bar, the way to alleviate the pressure is to turn your knee sideways, right? To rotate the knee to where it's I guess transverse to the body, and with that you have two choices, right? You can point it to the left, or you can point it to the right. This one, Pat chooses to point it to the left, and it gives Joe the ability to go for the outside heel hook. If he was to try and turn it to the right, then Joe would have the opportunity to go for an inside heel hook. So you change the position to go from an outside ashi position, or straight ashi, which is what you're in right now, to what would essentially be a 50-50 position with an inside heel hook if you were to turn the other way.
Killer stuff, Joe.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, very.
That's just recognizing those types of positions and where there's a threat. That's a very critical part of development too.
Yeah.
Heavy snaps coming from you two.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to make them much more effective. And actually, while we're
really like Steven's trying to do there, stuffing your arm down so that he can come around for the back take, but you didn't having that.
Yeah, we'll pause that in a second. One thing to let's see if I could catch a good example of it here on these snap downs. So it's kind of hard because we're gonna look at footwork a little bit here. But when you go to snap people, you want to do it in a direction that takes their head out away from their feet, perpendicular to their feet line, if that makes sense. So if this is Steven's foot line, when I go to pull him forward, I want to pull him forward in this direction. Ideally, that's like the optimal way to do it, right? It kind of I am treating his body as if he were in a staggered stance. If you think about it, this is getting a little bit abstract, but like when we talk about seated versus supine guard and what you do against an opponent who is standing with square feet, you are attacking them perpendicular to their foot line, right? And that's where they're vulnerable. When you push them backwards perpendicular to that foot line or pull them forwards. Same thing with the snap down. So I've been focusing a lot on that lately, trying to make my snaps perpendicular to the feet. Whereas, if they're staggered, you're going to have to either like pull them directionally with your arms or move to that perpendicular line and pull them straight down. But it's just a good way to get the most out of it. And from there, that is an example of a very crappy shot after a snap setup. I'm low and Steven's just moving back, and I shouldn't have even taken that shot, and I paid the price for it. So yeah, since we're back there, Mike, you go ahead. What were you talking about here?
No, so what I really like is so he obviously pulls in. He's really trying to go for that arm in guillotine, but he can't get to the left side, right? In order to finish the arm in guillotine, you have to be your body has to be crunched on the strangle side of the guillotine, right? So we always have a strangle arm and we have a support arm. And so for the guillotine, we always want to be turned on the hip that the strangle side is on. So in this case, it would be the left hip of Steven. But when he feels like he can't get it, which is because you're burying your shoulder down to keep your neck safe, he actually uses that, like his bicep to get behind your shoulder, switches the grip, and then it starts to use this to come up to the back. And you didn't you were putting enough pressure into him. You're trying to get your left shoulder free and square up to him here. And I think he just loses it just because you've trapped him really well. He can't rotate.
Yeah, and I'm straddling on his leg. A lot of times we see this being done from closed guard, where Steven would have his leg not in between my legs, but around my hips. Right now, since I'm on top of his leg, it's going to be a lot harder for him to invert the knee, point the knee to the ground, which would allow him to get his hips up behind me. You could see I'm focusing on controlling that leg because I know he needs to get that knee pointed to the ground in order to get up over me. So now I try to get out, go behind, and get around to the side. Here he's in that kind of like the opposite of a false reap.
Yeah.
Both legs on the outside, but I'm like kind of, it's a leg drag position is all it is. He's trying really hard to pull my foot in between his legs. That would put him into a leg lock entrance. I'm doing my best to keep my sticky hook of my foot against his hamstring so that he can't do that.
Now you turn it around to a back take here.
Try. I don't remember if I got this one or not.
So you're side on. He's doing very similar to what you were doing to him. He's staying very heavy on that bottom foot. You've got the high ball ride.
Which, maybe it's just me. I find that position to be very ineffective. I hate that position.
Really? I've been digging it. Like
Dude,
I'm sorry?
You and Luke do so well there. Like you guys have so much control there. I haven't quite cracked the code on that one for myself.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you do well enough to get where you need to go with the two hooks and then the post rear mount. So, go where you're having success.
Yeah.
The reason I have to go to the high ball ride is because I can't get to that on people who are very dexterous with their hips and are very well timed. I go to the high ball ride to slow them down.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, or when people against Luke, if I could slip my leg, I could slip a leg free, and he doesn't want to let the back go, so he latches onto that, and then it prevents a lot of my rotation. And speaking of Luke, I just wanted to point out his role with Brandon here up by the pillar. So Brandon's done a good job to get around the knee shield that Luke had set up. Since he's in top half guard, gets caught a little lazy here though. Luke finds the Kimura and ends up pulling it out and getting it.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Steven, I get a little lazy on attacking this leg. Such a terrible entrance. I wasn't even trying to do the it's funny, that's just the opposite side that I tend to work from. I was looking to do the step around. I just always do it from the other side. I never enter that way. Probably why it was so terrible.
Well, he also was doing a really good job of pushing your hips away.
Yeah.
As you were entering into the position, so that distance didn't do you any favors.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Danny and Jordan putting his getting quizzed here on mount escapes and good and bad things to do. So this is where I start working this, again, shoulder crunch deep half dilemma against Steven. Actually, let me go back before we get, well, that tap happened so quickly. Actually, maybe it wasn't on this roll. Let's see. So here I'm going deep half, or trying to go deep half. Shoulder crunch with the head. Back to deep half. Shoulder crunch. I get into the deep half here, the furthest I'd gotten up until now. But this was cool. Steven and I watched this again. He steps over my leg here and puts me in a mounted triangle so quickly. I didn't even realize he didn't even have time to like lock his legs up.
It was one tie. It was the wrong way.
Yeah, and my that's what it was, Steven. That's what it was. We didn't even realize that, or I didn't. I know I didn't realize that. That's why my arm. I tapped to the shoulder pressure here because
Looks bad.
this. Yeah, that's my kinked up shoulder, and it was in such an extreme position that I knew if Steven put any amount of twist on it, it was immediately gonna hurt bad. The triangle itself was a threat too. But my shoulder was just in such a terrible position immediately. Another reason for me to just continue hating deep half guard and convincing myself not to work it. But yeah, this was, I had the butterfly. I was looking to get to, like an X guard or something. I don't remember exactly what my intentions were, but just how he posts up on the knee here, makes it really easy for him to high leg over. And I've already, it's kind of the danger with deep half is if they get past your legs, you have volunteered a triangle position. So that was it. That was such a great transition. He hit that so smoothly. Jordan getting a lesson in the recipe for triangles with one arm in and one arm out. Yeah, the wrong way triangle makes so much more sense now. Steven, we'll have to go over that again next time we're there. I don't see any reason why we couldn't make that a pretty regular counter to a deep half entrance, rather than just cross face and sprawl. Like we could. I think we can make that a bit more high percentage.
Danny with the Sao Paulo pass. You see that?
I did not.
Got the legs for it. Jeez.
So just that body lock, fully extend your legs out, walk around.
Yeah, the Sao Paulo pass is it's a pass that's normally done in the gi, and it's normally done from closed guard. And basically what you would do is set it up like you would a body lock. You hug the hips really tight, and then you lay down on, you pick a side, right? You basically lay down onto the knee that you want to pass to. You blade your hips, and then by that time, the guard is normally broken open, and you can start walking around the legs. It's a very old school pass that still is used in gi today.
Yeah.
Normally on heavyweights, normally on bigger guys, we'll do that.
Yeah, Jordan, it'd be like that.
Yeah.
But no, what you're doing right now, what you're learning, especially in this little lesson, is like all the little vulnerabilities that are built into some of our like instinctual reactions with jiu-jitsu. Pushing away. I think we've talked about it already, so you're doing it much less now, but like, when you're mounted, pushing away at the chest rather than framing at the hips and pushing down the body. You really start to learn how you isolate your limbs inadvertently. We saw Danny hit an arm trap on you with the legs when he was on your back. That's a lesson in where your hands can and can't go. When someone's on your back, and how you make yourself vulnerable. So they're all good lessons to learn, man. Rush. Who's Rush giving some trouble to?
I think that's Duncan.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then we got Cole and James going over 50-50, probably.
They're going over Crossashi right now.
Yeah. I think they started 50-50, and then we're working that. And I think Luke probably just put Caleb in a toe hold here behind the pillar.
Mhm.
Was this the role, Joe, where Luke found a little bit of celery in your ankle, decided to break it for you? Have they rolled yet, Luke and Joe?
Mm-mm.
Okay. We're gonna fast forward a bit. This seems to be a bit of a lull. Joe's rolling quick. Oh, you finally. I like you changed your screen name.
Yeah.
More heavy snapping on Austin here.
Yep. You caught him with his head low.
Yeah, well, he tried to. It was quick. He tried to do a Russian tie on me from that.
Yeah.
Right here off that collar tie. But I just squared up with him, and I almost turned it into. Well, yeah, I did turn it into a front headlock position. Not gonna say I meant to do that. It kind of just worked out that way.
Yeah.
I mean, good movement from him to flank my arm. What I'd really like to see out of this though is his head against my head. Like his head should be right here in the side of my head. His chest should be behind my shoulder, behind and on top of my shoulder. Right now, you know, I could post on his head, yank my arm out or whatever. That Russian tie needs to be much closer. His shoulder to my shoulder, his chest behind my arm. That's going to really be where you get to put some pressure on. But then now I managed to take a front headlock as a result. I like to see him immediately followed by foot sweep as he's trying to pull past. The Russian tie? Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually really closely related to the over tie foot sweep I've been working too, because they're so similar. Like if I have an over tie on somebody and they have their collar tie, if I just pull that arm off of my neck, I can move it right to the Russian tie. So it's I'm just now like finding out about that position and how effective it is for foot sweeping. Those are my favorite takedowns, and I typically just work them from front and kind of 45-degree positions. And now it's like, all right, I'm gonna hit him every which way I can, and that's been a great spot to start looking for him. Austin's guard, meanwhile, has just been getting better and better.
Yep.
And his leg locks, like I think I was heavily complimentary of him after this round on his defense. Like he was hiding his heel about as well as you do. You know, he was really making me fight for him.
That's awesome.
No, it's not. Like right here, I'm on an inside. An inside Senkaku. I grab his secondary leg because he had taken his primary leg away from me. His right leg in this case. Now I'm doing everything I can to claw it back. Here, he's pointing the heel behind, turning his knee away, grip fighting. He gets his leg free. Now I'm grabbing the toe line so that he can't roll away. I think I roll through on one of these just to try to follow. Yeah. But here he's probably going to slip the knee. No. Look like game is about as basic as it comes. That's awesome, man. Dude, I hope we help you.
Absolutely.
Mike's he's the leg lock guru between the two of us. Continually learning stuff from you, man. But I feel like there's I don't know. The leg lock game can be as complicated or as simple as you want to make it. And like, it can all be easily effective. Getting my oil check there. Because some guy, I mean,
So,
you look at games like Lachlan Giles' game. You know what's going on with like this false reaping stuff lately. They're all very. I don't want to say very complicated, but it's all just newer ways of doing a lot of the same old stuff. It finishes in all the same positions, you know. And Austin finally winning that. Before I philosophize over leg locks, let's just look at how he gets here. So I've managed. I have lost cross ashi. I'm about to lose outside ashi, or a straight ashi with that, you know, an outside leg position. Now I'm in a leg drag, so you can lose it that quickly. As soon as I get, or as soon as Austin gets his heel to his butt, you know, he where does it happen? So come on, slowest rewind. There we go. So from here, right there, I'm in a leg drag. And this went from me being in an offensive position to a defensive position that quickly.
Vaporize. Is that a 10th planet?
Yeah, it's basically a calf slicer, but with a little extra pressure on it. And yeah, Austin doing great work there.
Look at that. That was textbook, man. That was great.
Yeah, so he passes my guard. Go a little faster through this. He passes my guard. Leads with the knee. He's fighting for his underhook, but he doesn't get it. But he still takes the time to he gets all the way across and beats my elbow to like an inside position. Or keeps me from getting the inside position.
Drives that knee up really high. His right knee really high.
And I'm so glad he's working the body triangle here. I think we've yelled at him enough that like there's no reason he shouldn't be using body triangles. If he uses hooks, he's just giving up way too much here. Especially against my narrow ass. Like there's no reason he shouldn't body triangle me.
Catch him trying to switch, but it looks like he got it. He already got it on that side.
He always likes to switch his legs. I don't think he likes having the body triangle on the bottom, which I relate to a lot. I hate that position. But when, you know, knowing that if I can get him to switch, that's when I can get my back escape. Here, through all of that, I've managed to just get my hips out a little bit. And now you can see I'm trying to focus on getting that knee open so I could pull, ideally I would pull my right leg through. I don't think I do here. Yeah, I just get back to a half guard.
Yeah, and then you attack now you're in cross ashi.
He's lucky.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a fun roll. All right. Should change the bone breaking emote to a celery. Little celery stick breaking. All of our subscribers, get ready to use your bone snap emote. And if you're not subscribing and you want to use the bone snap emote, give us your Twitch Prime. Joe's shooting for, or thinking about shooting for a Kimura.
His knees are pointing down towards the mat. This is a very good, strong passing position for Luke. Yep. So Luke did a really good job trying to walk Joe's knees towards his head. So you see how he's walking and walking and walking, and what that does is that gives Joe, and he's following up with his right knee is coming up behind the hamstring and behind the knees of Joe. And what that's doing is that gives Joe's sticky hooks less purchase. You know, it can't follow Luke's leg nearly as much. So he doesn't have to do a really elaborate high back step. He can just do a very gentle, leg release, if you will, and then can do a back step here and settle right into a side control.
Here we go, Pinball. Thanks for the sub.
Thanks for the sub. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Ooh, I know that one.
I missed it.
That's just the side control.
Oh, the neck crank.
Yeah. Strangle, neck crank.
Don't even call it a strangle. Don't even.
Yeah.
That can either fix or give you scoliosis when Luke does that to you.
Okay.
Okay, Joe Baker. Look at that footwork.
Damn. That was like running back style.
Yeah, and he gets the underhook too. Luke sucks. And then Luke gets the sweep. So Luke's good. There it is. Snap engage with the Estima lock. So, super sucks. Yeah, so here's the thing. This is if you're gonna play butterfly half on Luke, this is what you sign up for. Luke has done this to me 3 times in one roll before. I'm pretty sure. And this is the dangerous thing about, or this is a dangerous part of half guard, is the Estima lock, which Pinball, if you're working on your leg lock game, go ahead and fold this into it. If you don't do it already. But these Estima locks are they are made to be hit quickly. There's a really, really good recent example of that from Luke. You're gonna have to put his name in the chat if you remember it, but it was Calvin, I forgot his last name, versus Placido Santos of Uke fame on Danaher's instructionals. But they were in a competition. Calvin hit an Estima lock, but he hit it extremely quickly. Of course, whenever that happens, it pisses off all the BJJ hobbyists who think it's cruel and mean to hit speed taps on people when there's money on the line. Go figure. But this is really truly how you've got to finish an Estima lock. It's not one that you grab and then put on slowly and make them say uncle with. Reason being, if you look, Luke has no control over Joe's knee or his hips. This is purely, Calvin Tacey or Tracy. I don't know, whatever. Either way, Luke has no control over any part of Joe's body except the ankle and the foot. So if you're going to break it, or, make like you're going to break it, obviously Luke doesn't want to break Joe's ankle. You got to lay it on kind of quickly. Otherwise, Joe could basically invert and take the pressure off like immediately. It's an easy one to get out of if you know how to get out of it and you're anticipating it. Your body didn't tap, Joe. Your body snapped. But correct, you did not tap. Yeah, Luke tapped for you. You can tell by Luke's got he's got goosebumps right now. Got the creepy crawlies after hearing the celery in the leg. But either way, that's what happens with the Estima locks. So, been there. Thanks for the sub, Luke. I love seeing a white belt next to Luke's handle. It's the best. Damn, James is a higher belt than Luke right now.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. And now Luke's in full contrition mode, letting Joe work to spots that Luke himself has crushed all of us in. So Joe, you're almost to or you're in a side triangle here. I like what you're doing. I'd like to see your triangle a little tighter, like that foot behind the knee, not the crossed ankles. right there. You kind of lost it in switching to that arm. That's, I don't know, man. That's such a good. I think I went off on the side triangle during the last stream, but I love that position so much. I really like to see you guys getting proficient with it. Luke, I mean, I know Luke uses that a lot too. You know, Luke, you're a big fan of that scissor strangle position, and pairing that with the side triangle, and then just all the arm locks you get from there too. Not just the Kimura on the near side arm that you set it up with, but the Americana on the far side arm too, I think is often forgotten about, but definitely one you want to switch to when your side triangle isn't working. So Duncan and Caleb I believe to finish it off, and then Steven and Joe up top. Joe's still walking even after that round. Look at him go. True go-ruck athlete right there. I've seen me going for a straight arm bar. Probably looking for the triangle. 100%, man. That's one of my favorite things, I think, when like some of our students, like Austin, for example, you know, triangle specialist, right? He loves triangles. He's great at them. When you see that light bulb go off that like the triangle and the arm bar are right there together. They're always there together. That's like, I feel like that's one of the first dilemmas people learn in jiu-jitsu. And once they get that pairing down, they're off to the races, you know. A little bit of Joe's footwork has slowed down a little bit. A little step around knee bar. Joe, the only reason that didn't work is your hips were way too high. Your hips were up around his knee. So it's going to be easy for it's going to be really easy for Steven to clear your knee line there. That's why you want to lead with the knee, lead with your left knee in this case, across, and keep the hips low rather than taking that big wide step around. Your hips are just too high to really isolate the knee. That would, you know, it could work on a white belt. It's not going to work on Steven. Yep. I'm just going to assume you meant way too high there. Meanwhile, Caleb back to his compression choke here in the corner.
Duncan's just eating it right now.
He is, and I don't like to last, or I try not to fight that strangle for too long with Caleb, but I find that bridging here, like Duncan's doing, where he's getting his hips off, that just takes away the compression that Caleb's trying to put on it. You know, you notice he gets this strangle when he has curled you back and like made your body concave. When you straighten yourself out, that's what takes it away. The shitty part of that is you're not moving and he's not moving, so you're not really, you're kind of like delaying what could be inevitable unless you can like manage to get him off balance. If you can bring his head to the mat, like if you have kind of a bear hug on him, which, you know, it's a good way to get out of cases, bear hugging your opponent, doing a nice big heavy bridge and then rolling. It's going to be really, really hard with, you know, a heavyweight opponent like this. But that bridging will take the effect of the compression strangle off, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, the good thing about like
effective, Justin.
What was that?
Justin says I usually just start swearing at Caleb when he tries that one.
I saw that.
Very effective.
Same. Yeah, I mean the other thing that you can do if you can't launch him overhead with the that bear hug is that when you drop your hips back down, trying to slide your hips closer to him, right? If you are parallel with him instead of perpendicular, the compression is much less. And so oftentimes you can, if you can get your hips close enough, you can either come around for a back take, or even, you know, try that bridge again and get his head back on the mat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. Caleb with another Caleb toss. And then Steven also trying to work that side triangle position. So from here, side triangle's gone just because Joe managed to work his head kind of back up and through. I just want to look at the struggle here to set it up. Steven, you got the right idea pulling that arm through. You want to do that to tighten up your own triangle, but if that's not enough, you need to trust the connection that you have to him with your upper body. Unlock your legs and just straighten them out. Straighten your legs out and turn your hips to the mat. Then turn back and try to lock your triangle. I know it sounds weird and risky, but it's a good way to get, in the same way we try to get every centimeter out of a Darce triangle that we can. You have to do the same, or a lot of guys have to do the same for side triangles. I'm definitely one of them. Since you don't have the Kimura grip right now, I don't know if I would advise it. Yeah, I don't know. It's debate. He had that grip on the far arm, so he may have been able to get away with it. And now, yeah, Joe's just like denying the entire position. It's a really, really interesting battle you two are having here. But yeah, Joe's now, his head's so far through, Steven's left leg was underneath the back, so there's no side triangle anymore. But if you could get Joe's left arm to the mat, he would have a very solid Kimura position, which I think Joe is well aware of. Caleb with the armbar.
Look at Duncan. That was a really slick way that he was trying to get out and do the running man escape. Okay. He wasn't going to be able to, and the reason is because Caleb has body side leg, so his right leg is actually blocking the body of Caleb here. The left leg, I believe, is a crossface. It was a crossface leg, but Duncan is using his right arm. He's hugging the hip, that his head is sitting under, right?
Yeah.
And his left arm is actually positioned up underneath that crossface leg. So what he's able to do is shuck over.
Yep.
Get his head out, right? Now he's got to worry about a triangle here, right? He's not out of the woods necessarily. But I don't think that... Yeah, so Caleb didn't have... he still had that the body side leg, so he wasn't actually in a triangle threat at all. That was just great awareness, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought that was a really nice way that he held his composure.
Yeah, good escaping instincts. And then it looks like, they're off screen now, but Caleb's made his way to the back.
Yeah.
What the hell did Steven do? Oh, looks like a guillotine. Finished the guillotine from the top position. No arm in. High elbow.
Oh, yeah. High elbow. Marcellatine.
I think we get a little mini round here between these two. Let's see.
Same thing with the shoulder crunch here. It's kind of using it as like a cross body type, but I like how, Joe, you're using butterfly hooks to start managing distance.
Got to. Yeah, there's no reason you shouldn't have been able to finish that, Joe. This is the end of the round. Maybe you guys are taking it easy. Just got to stretch that arm out that Cole's posting on.
Honestly, your right ankle may have been a little sore here because you could have been bridging off of your right foot, using that as a power leg to drive up.
Very true.
Awesome way to dig on the leg. I really like how you use that butterfly half to set that up.
Yeah, and he's using that to you watch him push Cole's hips away. Once he secures the ankle, right there, he's starting to get Cole broken down to a hip, which
Yep.
is essential for these leg locks. Cole doing a great job hiding that, though.
He is. Yeah, very heavy on that cross face, which is deterring the leg entry. Now, no cross face. Now, Joe. Oh, he's cross-side. Okay.
Yeah, looks like Cole's. He was about working his way up the back, but I guess. Cole's really trying to keep both of those arms across his body. I think he's really focusing on getting to the back here.
He is.
Dangerous gambit there, Joe. Taking that arm between the legs.
Yeah, because if he cuts around your back, you've lost your arm. Your arm is automatically trapped.
Good tripoding from Cole here. Trusting his base. Trying to pummel the legs free. He's got that underhook. I personally, like, he doesn't seem to care, and I wouldn't either, that Joe had briefly gripped his hands together. This is great. Really great work from Cole here, getting to the mounted position with the underhook, and then immediately setting up the Katagatame with the elbow above the shoulder line. Killer. Man, that was another great session. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Again, I hope you guys had a great holiday. Really appreciate the new subs. Pinball, thanks, man. And
thank you very much.
Coach Luke as well. Yeah, you guys always make this something we look forward to doing. So appreciate the comments and the questions and everything. And Pinball, I hope your leg game is steadily, constantly improving.
Yeah, keep us posted and bring questions, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, as Matt said, I'm very intrigued with the leg game. So bounce ideas and stuff, and yeah, more than happy to talk about it.
Yeah, and then if you guys ever want to, I mean, I know we got Pinball chiming in, and then Deathcore from time to time. You know, if you guys ever want to send us some footage, we haven't done it yet, but we'd be happy to like check out some stuff from some of our more, you know, our loyal viewers that aren't necessarily at our school. I'd have a great time checking out what you guys do and just seeing different styles from different schools. It's always fun to experience that in competition or when you travel and drop it on other schools. So love to see what you guys are doing as well. So if you're ever interested, shoot me a message. We can figure something out and get a way to exchange some footage and do some breakdowns. Other than that, it is back to a regular schedule this week. Thank God. Life is always a little harder when we can't roll. So I think onward through half guard this week. We got one more week of it. No gi tomorrow. Gi on Tuesday and Thursday. I knew I had the sweep with the shoulder crunch, but his base was strong. Ankle is 9.2 out of 10. Good. I'm glad you'll be able to train. Hopefully the long layoff did you well, but I'm sure you like picked up cinder blocks and walked around with them over your head or something. You know, whatever. Go wreck savages. In any case, thanks guys. As always, follow us here, subscribe over at YouTube, or we'll post the video. Any questions, bring them to class. Any new techniques, bring it to class. We're always happy to go over stuff. Yeah, anything else, man?
Nah, that's it.
Cool. All right, well, trim your long ass nails and do your stank ass laundry and wash your stank ass fattened Thanksgiving bodies before you get onto the mats. And Jesus Christ, Joe. He said I ran 3 miles today.
Yeah.
Whatever. I didn't. I just drove a lot. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Take it easy, guys.